Maggie.
Hi. No, it sounds well. Thank you for coming. Uh, it's an honor and challenge to be a citizen of this community of artists who are struggling to use our skills and our passion as tools to bring about a better world for our children. Yet what I can bring to you today is a ray of hope from Jerusalem, an encouraging case study of one such effort that is taking place at the institute that I founded and direct, the Sam Spiegel Film and Television School, Jerusalem. By its very essence, the medium of cinema as a dramatic art holds a tremendous potential and a particular magic in its power to reach the heart and mind of the viewer. Thus, through cinema education, we can give new generation of filmmakers the power to change reality. Our methods are providing film students with a mandate to ask questions, to break stereotypes, and to create films that are grapple with complex and social ethics. Quite apropos to the theme of the language and art of music, our students at the Sam Spiegel School are scoring triumphs slowly but surely by employing one of the most potent methods of all, conducting a dialogue. Actually, it goes beyond the mere art of conducting a dialogue and communicating. In many cases, our enemy is silence and alienation, which forces us to first create an entirely new environment conducive to allowing a dialogue to occur. Our students' goal is to shatter the stereotypes that divide individuals and societies, to help the viewer enter into the psyche of the other, something that good filmmakers can do brilliantly through the power of the camera, through the power of cinema. My goal for this session with you is to share the nature of how our students are using the cinema to bring the world closer, through the dialogue they are fashioning. I'd like then to share a very significant student film or graduate film that is in itself shatters silence and creates a new discourse. Very fittingly, this particular film takes place here in Germany. By way of introduction, the Sam Spiegel Film and Television School Jerusalem was born back in 1989 as a child of a protest movement by young Israelis who demanded an independent national school devoted solely to the realms of cinema and television. As you can imagine, the excitement of creating this new school was a dynamic force that swept students and faculty alike. But I suppose that I am the one who put a damper on that heady atmosphere of that time. I couldn't help it. I took a long, hard look at the state of the Israeli cinema, where there was plenty of room for improvement, and I knew that it was high time to invent a new mandate for the upcoming generation of Israeli filmmakers that we would train and cultivate. At that time, Israeli audiences had abandoned local productions, and Israeli cinema's standing in the international realm was at all-time low. In particular, Israeli short films, like most of the world's short films in general, were descriptive, yet not dramatic, and they lacked a compelling dilemma and a strong protagonist with whom viewers can identify. I resolved then and there to train a new breed of filmmakers who would bring the depth of human emotion and insight to the Israeli and to the international screen, provoking the viewer to think, to feel, to discuss, and sometimes to take action. The challenge was made all the greater because we were working within the medium of the short film, whose limited length gives us such a very brief time to tell the story and to touch the viewer's emotions. What I discovered was that to bring about such a radical change, I first had to come up with a working definition of the short film itself, and then to give my students the basic tools to carry out their task. And it was here that I first demanded the initial dialogue, one that is actually an inner dialogue that each young filmmaker must carry out within his own mind and heart. In essence, I urged the need to constantly ask essential questions that had not been posed beforehand. Is the film you wish to make relevant? Is it original? Has its story been told before? Are you the only one who can tell the story? Do you have an obligation to tell it? Is it relevant to your inner world and to your personal taste? Is it relevant to your audience? To which audience? With what artistic means will you reach this audience? Will its meaning traverse audiences, countries, and cultures? Gratefully, this demand for internal dialogue and for relevance resulted in a genuine energy and passion that sized the first student body. The representation of graduate films in 1992 marked a turning point in Israeli cinema. Their films dealt boldly with topics of political, cultural, and personal conflicts and identity, soon capturing prizes in all Israeli competitions. Within a short time, our graduates championed the school's approach in the real world, influencing the depth of Israeli cinema to steer the viewers' emotions and intellect. International acclaim was soon to follow as well, but it didn't stop there. The 2 decades that have since followed have brought tremendous accomplishments for our students and our school. To date, the Sam Spiegel Film School in Jerusalem has had awarded over 160 retrospectives and film tributes in 49 countries. Some of the most impressive accomplishments were the retrospectives that were held for us in such festivals as the Berlinale and the Museum of Modern Art in New York. But one of the most exciting and one of the most sweetest accomplishments came just over 3 months ago, not in a big, renowned festival such as the Berlinale, but in the Asia African Film Festival in Indonesia, where they held a retrospective for our short films, films whose plots dealt with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, were screened in 3 cities in Indonesia at 8 theaters simultaneously before Muslim audiences of hundreds in a nation that conducts no diplomatic or cultural relations with Israel. In short, in an environment where no dialogue can be conducted. Yet, our students' films visibly touched the audiences, slashing stereotypes and prejudices at one. The film Diploma by Yael Kayam was even awarded 2 festival prizes. And for us, this constitutes very dramatic proof of the power to create an agenda through cinema where a viewer can discover and live the identity of the other. Here dialogue begins, and here we film educators can advance the cause of cinema for humanity. Certainly most relevant for our students and for this conference, of course, is the fact that training filmmakers to use cinema as a tool for social betterment is a vision that crosses all international and political borders, and one that must be shared by young filmmakers in every single country of this world we share. At the Sam Spiegel School, we set a major goal to make today's cinema world smaller and open the doors to international cooperation and a critical exchange of ideas among film schools. I was honored to be selected as president of the European Association of Film and Television Schools, JECT, for a term that lasted from 2000 to 2004. Here the dialogue that we set in motion began at the top, a dialogue of sharing among schools, academic and artistic directors. I initiated regional conferences dedicated to helping film schools directors raise their school's professional standard and to grapple with hard issues they share. I called it School's Best Kept Secrets. We convened to reveal our secrets and advance dialogue. We were able to share school secrets, learning from each other the hidden curriculum, aiming to better our own curriculums. This opened the way to real communication and empathy among the very special men and women who stand at the helm of this region's top cinema schools. Germany holds a pivotal role in a subsequent milestone event that took place in 2008, 2 years ago, one that gave new meaning to the creation of dialogue among fellow student filmmakers and an impetus to global understanding. In a process called Triangle Dialogue Project, promising young directors were brought together from across a battered globe to create a dialogue that broke barriers among themselves and instigated them to use cinema as a means for fostering a more compassionate world. This masterful project brought together students from 3 film schools. The International Filmschule in Cologne, led by my colleague, the incomparable Simon Stevens. Andrzej Wajda School in Warsaw, Poland, and the Sam Spiegel School in Jerusalem, to combine efforts to produce a full-length documentary film. The development and production phases were accompanied by workshops in the 3 schools, moving from Israel to Poland to Germany, totally funded by NRW Filmstiftung, Arte, and foundations in Poland and Israel. The young directors represented 3 burdened cultures that clash, yet somehow embrace one another, collapsed together by the common forces of modern history. Each of the participants was asked to develop, research, and produce the projects in one of the partner countries, bringing to the fore their personal stories of wounds from the past and broken identities. Triangle Dialogue's mission was to utilize the vehicle of film to understand the other, to study the other, to work in partnership with the other, to film with the other, to carry out a dialogue. Although fraught with potential for tension, it turned out to be an extraordinarily rich educational, cinematic, and cultural experience. We created a common incubator to develop projects under the watchful eye of mentors from each school. Together, we decided upon 5 film projects from the different schools. We, the film school's directors and the mentors, set up joint crews and followed the project through workshops held in Jerusalem, Warsaw, and Cologne. Competitive as we might have been, we truly acted out of a commitment to the success of each of the films. The goals we achieved was 5 outstanding films that were ultimately compiled into one 90-minute feature film, a film of dialogue. Yael Reuveni, who is with us here, and Ruth Litan, 2 young Israeli directors belonging to the 3rd post-Holocaust generation, dealt with their family mysteries and ancestry while questioning life in Israel. German directors Otto Dietrich and Matthias von Schemen were interested in another dimension of contemporary Israeli and Polish society. Otto Dietrich observed young Israeli soldiers who didn't fit the standard image of masculinity, while Matthias von Schemen portrayed the love life of homosexual couple in Warsaw. Polish director Paweł Ferdek filmed 3 dancers from Poland, Israel, and Germany who performed contact improvisation movements alongside the wall in Jerusalem. A true, hard-earned triumph of teamwork, of allowing people of vastly different backgrounds to come together to find or to reinvent their identities and the beautiful tapestry they wove together from different and dissonant voices and now blended became a powerful, thought-provoking film that has been acclaimed by audiences throughout the world. Where silence has stifled dialogue, it is all the more crucial to painstakingly break through a common ground, to touch the human soul, and then to speak together, to begin the life-giving dialogue. There is a segment of the Triangle Dialogue project that I wish to screen for you now, a multi-layered film that creates a dialogue out of the chaos of a multi-layered silence. The director, our graduate Yael Reuveni, was born in Israel and bears the tragic burden of the annihilation of the most of her grandmother's family in the Holocaust. In her film, she chose to explore a film mystery, a failed attempt by her late grandmother to find her beloved brother, whom she hoped had survived the concentration camps. In her personal and professional journey to produce this film, Yael opened a dialogue with German individuals, once enemies of her family and her people. And beyond, she succeeded in opening a startling dialogue that is posthumous one, a connection between her long-dead grandmother and her missing brother, which awakens a flood of questions. What is family? What is a blood relationship? What is memory? Yael has been living and working in Germany, and she's with us in the audience today. I take great pride in introducing her film, Tales of the Defeated. It is a perfect example of the mandate to establish a dialogue that stands behind every effort of the Sam Spiegel School, Jerusalem. It is my fervent hope that with such a mandate, we can enrich and strengthen the language of art and music, mastering their use to bring about a better, more human world. So we'll see fully the tales of the defeat. Thank you.